Hai, boleh dengar? Boleh dengar suara saya tak?
Boleh cikgu, boleh.
Okey.
Jelas. Sangat jelas.
Sorry, ada masalah sikit tadi.
Cikgu perlukan masa tambahan? Macam mana? Ataupun kita mula 8-5 minit? Cikgu nak setting dulu ke?
Sekejap, saya setting dulu, saya buka dulu saya punya dokumen saya lah. Sekejap
Okay, Cikgu Gary, kita mula 8-5 minit lah supaya nampak lebih
Okey, boleh.
Okay, thank
Nanti
you.
Cikgu Nasirah beritahu lah kalau sudah sedia, kita mula.
Okey, boleh.
Okey.
Okey, saya sedang share screen. Boleh nampak saya punya amalan dekat sini?
Nampak cikgu, nampak.
Okey. So, boleh mula kot?
Boleh mula? Okey. Sekejap. Right. Okey. Selamat malam saya ucapkan kepada semua yang hadir pada malam ini, para pelajar, guru-guru serta para pencinta ilmu yang bersama kita pada malam ini. Selamat datang ke webinar Kecemerlangan SPM 2025 siri yang ke-23, Anjuran Pertubuhan Aspirasi Guru Sarawak dengan kerjasama Majlis Guru Cemerlang Sarawak serta menyokong usaha Sarawak Education Enhancement Program SEEP. Saya Cikgu Gary, berbesar hati menjadi moderator anda pada malam ini. Baiklah, topik yang kita bawakan pada malam ini amat penting iaitu Let's Kimia, Teknik Menjawab Kimia SPM Kelas 2, soalan esei siri yang pertama. Jadi malam ini kita amat bertuah kerana bersama kita seorang guru cemerlang yang sangat berpengalaman luas dalam bidang kimia iaitu Cikgu Nur Syahira binti Muhammad Nur, guru cemerlang kimia sekolah menengah dari SMK Cochrane, Kuala Lumpur. Dari jauh ni. Okay, sedikit pengenalan ringkas tentang penceramah kita. Cikgu Nur Syahira merupakan seorang guru yang cemerlang yang saya rasa memang cukup berpengalaman dalam membimbing pelajar menghadapi SPM khususnya bagi subjek kimia. Dan kita percaya beliau terkenal dengan kepakaran dalam teknik menjawab soalan dan strategi yang sangat berkesan untuk kertas peperiksaan terutamanya kertas 2 bahagian esei. Jadi malam ini kita akan bersama beliau untuk berkongsi strategi, tips serta cara menjawab soalan secara berkesan supaya calon SPM dapat mengelakkan kesilapan biasa dan sekaligus mencapai keputusan cemerlang itu A+. Jadi tanpa melengahkan masa, marilah kita berikan perhatian sepenuhnya pada Cikgu Nur Syahira binti Muhammad Nur untuk sesi perkongsian beliau. Okey, Cikgu Nur Syahira, all yours. Silakan.
Okey, terima kasih Cikgu Gary.
Sama-sama.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera kepada semua murid yang mengikuti webinar pada malam ini. Okey, baiklah, pada malam ini cikgu nak bincangkan berkenaan dengan soalan esei. Malam ni perkongsian cikgu lebih pada soalan esei dan pada bahagian B. Iaitu pada bahagian B ini sebenarnya ada dua soalan tapi hanya perlu menjawab satu soalan saja. Boleh pilihlah antara soalan 9 atau soalan 10. Anda perlu memilih salah satu daripada soalan 9 atau soalan 10 ini. Dan markah yang diperuntukkan untuk bahagian ini adalah sebanyak 20 markah. Dan cikgu sarankan untuk bahagian B iaitu bahagian AC ini kamu jawab dalam bentuk point form. Itu lebih baik dan lebih memudahkan pemeriksa untuk mencari markah untuk awak. Okey, jadi itu sedikit sebanyak tentang soalan esei. Okey, pada malam ini cikgu akan membincangkan, berkongsi dengan anda berkenaan dengan beberapa soalan contoh. Salah satunya adalah contoh soalan SPM yang sebenar iaitu SPM 2023 soalan nombor 10. Ia berkenaan dengan tindak balas redox. Okey, kita tengok, kita go through dulu pada soalan. Alright, soalan ini diagram 9.1 shows the apparatus set up for a chemical cell. Okay, dia dah bagi keyword dia dekat sini adalah chemical cell. Okay, then pasangan elektrod yang diberi adalah zinc and copper by using copper 2 sulfate 1.0 mole per dm solution, and the other one they use solution 1.0 mole per dm zinc sulfate. And as you can see here, here is the porous spot. Okay, now the question is, based on the diagram 9.1, state the color of the copper 2 sulfate solution and function of porous spot. Okey, dekat sini dia ada dua soalan dalam soalan ini. Soalan pertama ini 2 markah. So, yang pertama sekali you kena state the color of the copper 2 sulfate solution and the function of porous spot. Okey, so ialah blue. So bermaksud color of the copper 2 sulfate solution is blue color. Titik. Itu saja. You tak perlu tulis color contoh blue black ataupun biru turquoise ataupun biru tua. Itu tak perlu tulis macam itu sebab jawapan yang biru turquoise ataupun biru muda, biru selain daripada biru lah, itu jawapan tu tidak selamat kerana jawapan itu boleh jadi salah kerana tidak tepat. Okay, so jawapan yang paling tepat you bagi satu sahaja iaitu blue color solution. So you dah dapat 1 markah dari sini. And then soalan yang kedua dekat sini, function of porous spot. So function of porous spot dia ada 2 function. Okay, you boleh refer buku teks. Okay, on your textbook dia dah state dekat situ function of porous spot is to allow ions through it and to complete the circuit. So you boleh pilih either complete the circuit or to allow ion through it. Jangan lupa perkataan ion kerana ada calon yang salah kerana calon menulis to allow electron. Electron salah. The correct answer is to allow ions. So be careful with the term ions and the electron. Alright. Next question is table 7.1 shows the value of standard electrode potential of the half cell of zinc and copper. Okay, given to you the E0 cell of zinc is 0.76 and the E0 cell of copper is 0.34. Okay, you kena tahu di sini calon-calon dalam kita punya list of electrode potential value tu, dia hanya menulis half equation in reduction form. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, both are reduction reaction. Okay, dekat sini is reduction form and also for copper 2 plus to produce copper also in reduction form. Okay, and the E0 cell value, we have negative value here and also positive value here. Okay, the question is, based on the table 7.1, state the negative and positive terminal. Okay, one question. Write the overall ionic equation, question number 2, and write the cell notation, also calculate the value of E0 cell. So dalam soalan ni kita ada 4 soalan. Soalan yang pertama dia minta kita state the negative terminal and positive terminal, and then the next question is you have to write the overall ionic equation, and then you also have to write the cell notation, and the last part is to calculate the value of E0 cell. Okay, so how to determine the negative and positive terminal based on the table given? Okay, ini adalah table yang diberi. So, you nak determine negative terminal and positive terminal, you tengok simbol ini. The more negative value will be negative terminal, and the more positive value or the positive sign value means positive terminal. So, the answer for this question, negative terminal is copper electrode, and the negative terminal is zinc electrode, and the positive terminal is copper electrode, not copper ion and zinc ion. Electrode or terminal dia mesti electrode. Okay, so you write copper electrode for positive terminal, and for negative terminal the answer is zinc electrode. Okay, so 2 marks for that question. Okay. So kalau nak tulis zinc sahaja or copper sahaja tak ada masalah. As long as you tak tulis zinc ion and copper ion. If you write zinc ion and copper ion, so your answer would be wrong. Okay. Instead of you tak nak tulis electrode copper, copper electrode and zinc electrode, you boleh tulis zinc and copper sahaja. Tak ada masalah. Okay, next. Write the overall ionic equation. Okay, just now teacher mentioned about reduction form. Okay, now kita dah ada dua electrode tadi. Kita ada negative terminal and positive terminal. Okay, at the negative terminal, you have to remember negative terminal undergoes oxidation reaction. Negative terminal, and at the positive terminal will undergoes reduction reaction. Okay, so as zinc is negative terminal, oxidation reaction would be Zn produce Zn2 plus 2 electron. So this is half equation at negative terminal, and at the positive terminal will undergoes reduction reaction. So the half equation at the positive terminal would be Cu2 plus 2 electron produce Cu. Okay, next, how to write the overall ionic equation based on these two half equation. So for calon yang tak tahu, sila tengok betul-betul ya macam mana kita nak write the overall equation. Okay, now kita boleh cancel out the electron, and then this is the part of reactant. Okay, this is reactant side and this is product side. Okay, so at the reactant side will be Zn plus Cu2 plus, then produce the product is Zn2 plus Cu. Mudah sahaja. Okay, you tengok at the product side and at the reactant side, and then you cancel out the electron. Okay, okay. So this one actually teacher nak tunjukkan how you determine the positive and negative terminal. This one negative sign, so negative terminal, and positive sign here dia menunjukkan itu adalah positive terminal. Okay, alright. Ini gambar ni teacher ambil daripada buku teks sahaja. Alright, so this is the answer for overall ionic equation. Okay, next the question kita tak settle lagi. Kita ada the next question is write the cell notation. Okay, how to write the cell notation? Okay, also this one you boleh tengok dalam you punya textbook. Okay, so to write the cell notation we have these rules. Okay, we write the electrode and the ionic equation from the negative terminal, and then followed by the short bridge or the porous port, and then baru kita tulis electrolyte and electrode at the positive terminal. Okay, tadi kita punya negative terminal is zinc, and our solution is zinc ion, which is zinc sulfate solution. So consists of zinc ion. And then at the positive terminal, we have copper electrode, and the solution used is copper 2 sulfate solution. So we have copper ion in the solution. Okay, so how to write the cell notation? The answer would be like this. Zinc, then followed by zinc ion, and then the double line here, double lines means the salt bridge or porous spot. Okay, just now we have porous spot. So ini adalah porous spot followed by the ionic solution used is copper 2 sulfate solution. So copper in aqueous, and then followed by the electrode which is positive terminal is copper electrode. Okay, you kena ingat, you kena tulis perkataan aqueous ini. Aqueous tu penting lah. Right. Okay, and then here also solid. P is solid, pepejal. Okay, so zinc, then bracket pepejal, and then kita ada slash Zn2 plus. Okay, lagi satu teacher nak tunjukkan. Zn, then kalau you tulis slash begini, Zn2 plus, so ini tidak tepat. This one is not correct form. Okay, you tak boleh tulis ini. Instead of this, the correct answer should be like this. Dia ada garis lurus, not the gradient macam gini. Okay, ini tidak tepat tau. Ini tak tepat. Maksudnya tak dapat markah lah. Then followed by zinc ion, then blah 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 like this. Okay, so we have the answer for cell notation. And the last question for this part is we have to calculate the value of E naught cell. So how to calculate the E naught cell value? E naught cell value equals to E naught at the positive terminal, negative terminal, or in other words, we can use E naught at cathode minus E naught at anode. Okay, just now we have our positive terminal is copper and our negative terminal is zinc. Okay, then you should refer to the table. Okay, the table E naught given is negative 0.76 for zinc and positive 0.34 volt for copper. Okay, so positive terminal minus negative terminal. Okay, so the answer should be like this. Positive 0.34, this is the value of E naught cell, E naught for copper minus the value of E naught for zinc, which is negative 0.76. And when you minus these two value, you akan dapat 1.10 volt. And jangan lupa sign positive. Okay, kalau you tinggal positive or negative sign, you akan ditolak satu markah. So you must write positive 1.10 volt. Instead of if you write 1.10 volt, so jawapan ini tidak tepat. You kena tulis positif, atau kalau you dapat jawapan dia dalam negatif, so tulis negative 1.10 volt. The positive and negative sign must include in your answer. Okay, so we have answered this question. Okay, I hope tak ada soalan setakat ini. Alright, next. B, diagram 9.2 shows the electrolysis process of sodium chloride solution by using carbon electrode. Okay, now is electrolysis process, where the difference between the chemical cell and the electrolysis is, for electrolysis cell, we have a battery, but in the chemical cell or the voltaic cell, we don't have battery. We use voltmeter. And for this, we use battery. Okay, and as you know, yang pendek ini adalah cathode. Okay, then the symbol for the longer ini adalah anode. Okay, one. And then you have to know cathode, where cation will be discharged. Okay, cathode, cation. Itu dia punya keyword dia. At cathode, cation will be discharged. And at anode, anion will be discharged. Okay, alright. Next. Okay, kita tengok dia punya solution. Solution used is sodium chloride solution and 1.0 mole per dm. 1.0 mole per dm is considered as concentrated. Okay, so this aqueous solution is concentrated aqueous solution. And dekat sini kita boleh lihat pula dia punya observation at anode is greenish yellow gas and at cathode is colorless gas is produced. Okay, ini secara kita tengok daripada dia punya diagram dahulu. Okay, so kita tengok soalan dia. Diagram 7.2 shows the value of standard electrode potential as given. Okay, now the question is, based on the diagram and the table, explain the reaction at electrode X and electrode Y based on the following aspect. We have 4 aspects here. The first is ion that is attracted to each electrode, and then ion that are selectively discharged or oxidized and reduced, and then the reason, and also you have to answer half equation and the product form at each electrode. Okay, to the diagram given to you. Okay, then this is the X electrode. X electrode is cathode sebab ini dia connected with cathode, and for Y electrode is anode because connected to the anode. Okay, alright. So kat sini kita tengok dia punya soalan tadi. The first question is ion that are attracted to, ya, kita ada sodium chloride aqueous solution. Bila you nampak saja perkataan aqueous or solution, that mean dia ada air. Okay, consists of water. Okay, consists of water. So, bila consists of water, that means they have H2O in this aqueous solution. Okay, now when sodium chloride dissociate, we produce sodium ion and chloride ion, while when water dissociate, we produce hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion. Okay, alright. So ion that are attracted to X just now is X is cathode, right? X is cathode, and now Y is anode. So the ion attracted to cathode is cation. Okay, I repeat. Ion that attracted to cathode is cation. Cation means positively charged ion, which is sodium and hydrogen ion. And then ion that is attracted to anode is anion or negatively charged ion, which is chloride ion and hydroxide ion. So the answer is hydroxide ion and sodium ion for X, and for Y is chloride ion and hydroxide ion. Okay, next. Ion that are select to be oxidized and reduced. Okay, now after kita dah tahu which ion we go to the cathode and which ion we go to the anode, so kita kena pilih. We have to select only one ion to be discharged or to be oxidized or to be reduced. Okay, bila kita nak pilih, kita kena tengok dia punya factors. Okay, now tadi teacher ada mention about concentrated aqueous solution. 1.0 mole considered as concentrated. Okay, so that's mean that is factors number 2. Okay, in the factors number 2, dekat sini teacher ada tunjukkan dia punya explanation. So just because our factors is concentration of solution, okay, at cathode, how to select which ion will be selectively discharged? At cathode, we choose the more positive value. Okay, I repeat, at cathode, we choose cation with a more positive E0 value. And at anode dia ada different sikit. Macam mana dia different? Bila kita guna halide ion. What is halide ion? Halide ion is ion from halogen. When we use ion from halogen, for example, we have fluoride ion, or chloride ion, or bromide ion, or iodide ion. So this is known as halide ion. Okay, so bila dia factors concentration or concentrated aqueous solution, so kita kena pilih halide ion. Okay, nampak di sini. These factors is only considered for the selection of ion that use halide ion. Okay, then halide ion with a higher concentration will be discharged at anode. So, dekat sini, at cathode, kita tengok dia punya more positive value. Kita tengok sodium and hydrogen. Sodium and hydrogen, sebab apa? Sebab kita kena tengok which ion will be selectively discharged. Okay, sodium and hydrogen, hydrogen have the more positive value. So, hydrogen ion will be selectively discharged at cathode. So, at cathode, we choose hydrogen ion, and at anode. At anode, kita ada chloride ion and OH ion, hydroxide ion and chloride ion. Okay, just because dia ada factors number 2, which is concentration of solution, so we have to choose chloride ion, which is ion that is selectively discharged at anode. Okay, clear or not? Okay, I repeat. For positive electrode or at cathode, we choose the more positive value. The more positive value, kita compare sodium and hydrogen. Sodium is negative and hydrogen is positive. So, kita pilih positive value. The more positive value. That is for cathode. And for anode, kita pilih chloride ion sebab sekarang ni factors concentration. So, ion that is selectively discharged at cathode is hydrogen ion, and ion that is selectively discharged at anode is chloride ion. That is the answer. Okay, I will show you the answer. Okay, alright. So, hydrogen ion at cathode and chloride ion at anode. Then come with the reason. The reason why hydrogen is selectively discharged, because the E0 value of hydrogen ion is more positive. Okay, just now I have mentioned about the more positive value. Okay, and for chloride ion, why we choose the chloride ion? Because the concentration of chloride ion is higher than hydroxide ion. Okay, so that is the reason why we choose hydrogen ion at cathode and chloride ion at anode. And here is the half equation. So, half equation at cathode is like this. Okay, and half equation at anode is like this. Okay, now you kena tahu at cathode, you kena ingat ini. Anodes bracket. Okay, anodes bermaksud at anode oxidation reaction occur, and bracket means at cathode reduction reaction occur. So, kat sini kita ada cathode. So, at cathode is reduction reaction, and at anode undergoes oxidation reaction. Okay, so this is half equation of oxidation, and this is half equation for reduction reaction. Okay, So actually kalau kita tak buat table tak ada masalah. Kita tak perlu buat table pun tak apa. As long as you ada dia punya point yang dia nak tadi. Apa point yang dia nak tadi, dia dah list dekat sini. Dia nak ini, dia nak ini, dia nak ini dan dia nak ini. So kalau you tak tulis, you tak buat table tak ada masalah. Masih betul as long as you ada point yang dia nak. Okay. So kita dah jawab soalan ini and then kita pun dah jawab ini, kita pun dah jawab ini. Now is the product. Okay, product form at each electron. Okay, from the half equation that we write just now, we have hydrogen gas at cathode, okay, and chlorine gas at anode. Alright, so our product will be hydrogen gas and chlorine gas. Okay, itu sahaja. Alright, so this hydrogen gas is actually this one. Okay, kalau kita tengok balik dia punya diagram tadi, okay, kita ada colorless gas. So actually our colorless gas is hydrogen gas and the greenish yellow gas is actually chlorine gas. Okay, you kena make sure you tulis chlorine, not chloride. Okay, ada calon yang hilang markah. Hilang markah, kenapa dia hilang markah? Sebabnya di sini. Okay, dia tulis chloride. Okay, chloride gas. Chloride gas is wrong. Chloride is ion. Chlorine is molecule. Molecule of chlorine exists in gas form. Okay, molecule chlorine dia wujud dalam keadaan gas. So, chlorine gas, not chloride gas. Chlorine. Ion of chlorine is chloride. And the molecule is chlorine. And you have to remember chlorine, dia punya phase dia adalah gas form. Okay, right. Alright. Next, we move to the another question, also section B question. This one adalah soalan percubaan Johor 2024. Okay, kita tengok dia punya soalan. Diagram 9 shows the meat that cook with two different menu, which is the first is satay and the other one is steak. Okay. Based on the diagram 9, which meat will cook faster? Okay, actually ini adalah tajuk apa? Tajuk apa agak-agaknya? Adakah tajuk redox lagi? Ataupun adakah dia carbon compound? Adakah dia rate of reaction? Okay, jawapan dia adalah ini adalah tajuk rate of reaction, chapter 7 form 4. So macam mana kita nak tengok dia which meat will cook faster? Meat will cook faster bila dia punya size of the meat is smaller. When the size of meat is smaller, so that's mean the meat will cook faster. So the correct answer for this question is satay. Because obviously dekat sini kita nampak satay dia punya size dia lebih kecil berbanding size of steak. Steak size dia bigger than satay. So satay will cook faster. And next question, what factor that affect this reaction? Okay, the correct answer you should write is size of reactant or total surface area. Okay, dekat sini teacher nak you berhati-hati. Kenapa teacher cakap macam tu? Sebab ada calon yang hanya tulis surface area. Dia tak tulis perkataan total surface area. So, bila calon tulis surface area without the word total, so jawapan dia salah. Dia mesti ada perkataan total surface area. Total mesti include in your answer. Okay, and the other one, dia tulis size sahaja. Size sahaja tidak diterima. Size apa? Size apa? Kita boleh argue dekat situ. So, you kena tulis size of reactant. Barulah you akan dapat markah di sini. You kena tulis jawapan yang tepat. Bukan jawapan yang hampir tepat. Hampir tepat kita tak terima. Dalam SPM examination, jawapan yang paling tepat itu yang kita akan consider. Jawapan yang separa tepat, you nak macam tepat, nak tulis dengan tak tulis, itu kita tak terima. Okay, alright. Jelas ya semua? Kalau ada soalan boleh bertanya terus. Okay. Next, table 6 shows the information of 3 sets of experiment. For experiment 1, we use 25 cm cube of 0.2 mole sulfuric acid plus excess zinc powder. Okay, so ini adalah keyword dia, zinc powder. Kita gunakan powder di sini ataupun serbuk. Okay, and for set 2, we use the same concentration, the same acid and also the same volume, which is sulfuric acid. And now the difference is for set 1 they use powder, but for set 2 they use granule. Granule is ketulan. Ketulan macam ini. Kita ada saiz yang lebih besar lah, maksudnya saiz yang lebih besar berbanding powder. And for set 3 also the same concentration and the same volume with the same acid, but now we use excess zinc powder, and the other one added with copper 2 sulfate solution. Okay, ini apa agak-agaknya? Copper 2 sulfate solution is actually catalyst. Okay, so copper 2 sulfate solution act as catalyst. Okay, you boleh tengok dekat sini. Bila kita tambah catalyst, the time taken to collect the hydrogen gas will be shorter. Okay, and then for this one, dia punya time taken is longer. For the set 1, the time taken is 33, which is shorter than for set 2, but longer than set 3. Okay, so now the question is state the meaning of rate of reaction. Okay, soalan definition. Soalan definition, you kena ada dua benda. Yang pertama sekali, you have to write the apa kita panggil jap hilang pula. The subject. Okay, the subject. Okay, and must word by word. Okay, so you kena ada subject and word by word. Okay, then lagi satu, teacher nak bongkarkan dekat sini lah. Dia ada dua jenis soalan sebenarnya bila define. Okay, yang pertama is berikan maksud kadar tindak balas. Okay, bila dia soalan macam ini, bermaksud you kena bagi definition in general form ataupun dalam general punya definition lah. Okay, dia ada lagi satu soalan yang boleh trap kita, yang boleh perangkap kita. Dia ada lagi satu. Based on the given information. Dia ada ayat ini. Okay, so bila dia ada perkataan based on given information ataupun based on the table given ataupun based on the table or the diagram 6, macam gitulah. Okay, so jawapan kita mesti based on the reactant given to you. Okay, so soalan ini sekarang ni dia tak ada perkataan based on the given information. So how to define the rate of reaction? Rate of reaction is change in quantity of reactant or product per unit time. So ini adalah general definition. Okay, dia different dengan yang satu lagi. Okay, yang satu lagi yang macam teacher mention tadi, dia ada perkataan based on the given information. So bila dia ada based on the given information, state the meaning of rate of reaction. So cara jawab dia, based on the given information, rate of reaction is the volume of hydrogen gas collected per unit time. Kenapa teacher cakap macam tu? Sebab dalam given information dia dah bagi tahu kita dia punya gas collected is hydrogen gas. So, bila dia ada based on the given information, you kena tahu volume of hydrogen gas collected per unit time is the correct answer. So, kalau dia ada perkataan based on the given information, then you bagi definition in general form, jawapan you tidak tepat. Clear or not clear? Okay, macam itu ya. Jadi, you kena very careful with the statement given to you. Okay, kalau dia hanya bagi state the meaning of rate of reaction, so your answer should be like this. Change of the quantity of the reactant or product per unit time. Kalau dia tak ada, kalau dia based on the given information, so your answer would be the volume of gas collected per unit time. You kena based on the diagram given to you. Okay, alright. Next, what is the function of copper 2 sulfate solution in set 3? Okay, tadi teacher dah ada mention apakah function of copper 2 sulfate solution. Okay, the function is as catalyst, or you can write to speed up the reaction or to lower the activation energy. Pilih satu sahaja, tak perlu tulis tiga-tiga sebab markah dia satu sahaja. Okay, jadi you pilih salah satu sahaja. You nak tulis as catalyst boleh, ataupun nak tulis to speed up the reaction pun satu markah juga, ataupun you nak tulis to lower the activation energy pun satu markah juga. Tak ada masalah. You just select answer 1 mark for this question. Right? Next. Write the ionic equation for the reaction in set 1 and calculate the rate of reaction in set 1 and set 2. Then, draw the energy profile diagram for set 1 and set 3. Okay. On the same axis, energy axis, and show and label the activation energy for set 1 as EA and for set 3 as EA naught. Okay. So, kita tengok dekat sini. Macam mana kita nak tulis ionic equation? Ionic equation can be write by the chemical equation. Okay. So, kita tengok. Dia punya reaction is between zinc and sulfuric acid. Zinc with sulfuric acid. Okay, so bagi siapa-siapa calon yang tidak faham macam mana nak tulis ionic equation, teacher nak you tengok betul-betul macam mana kita nak tulis ya. Okay, so kita ada zinc and sulfuric acid. Okay, we produce zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas. Okay, ini adalah tindak balas between acid and reactive metal. Zinc is reactive metal. So, reaction between acid and reactive metal will produce salt and hydrogen gas. Okay, so this is the salt produced. And you kena tahu zinc sulfate is soluble salt. Garam yang larut dalam air. So, bila dia soluble salt, that means dia dalam keadaan aqueous. Okay, alright. Then hydrogen exists in gas. Okay, now for zinc, macam mana kita nak tahu dia dalam gas ataupun dalam keadaan aqueous ataupun dalam keadaan solid? So kita boleh tengok dekat sini. Dia bagi kita excess zinc powder. Of course, powder dalam keadaan solid. So zinc is in solid form. And how about sulfuric acid? Okay, sulfuric acid, kita tengok perkataan solution dekat sini. Sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid, okay, dia dalam keadaan solution sebab dia ada volume. So bila dia dalam keadaan aqueous, so kita tulis dia AQ dekat sini. Okay, so kita dah ada dia punya keadaan dia. Solid, aqueous, and gas. Okay, ini kita namakan dia sebagai chemical equation. But soalan minta kita tulis ionic equation. So, macam teacher cakap tadi, ionic equation dia datang daripada chemical equation. Okay, you kena tahu satu lagi. Aqueous kita boleh pecah. Solid and gas kita tak boleh pecah. Apa maksud pecah? Okay, sila tengok betul-betul. Okay, so dalam keadaan solid tak boleh pecah. So, zinc. Okay, dalam keadaan aqueous, in aqueous state kita boleh pecah. Pecah apa maksud dia? Pecah to ion. Kita ada 2H kat sini, so 2H plus SO4 is sulfate ion. Okay, kita pecahkan dia menjadi ion. And then here also aqueous sebab dia adalah soluble salt. So aqueous boleh pecah. So pecah to produce zinc 2 plus and sulfate ion. And the last part is gas. Gas tak boleh pecah. So H2. Nampak beza dia sekarang? Bila tak boleh pecah, so dia dalam original state dia. Original state dia adalah dalam H2. So kita salin semula dia punya original state which is H2. Okay, now next step, kita cancel out the same ion at the product and same at the reactant side. Okay, so yang mana satu yang kita boleh potong is this and this. Nampak? Bermaksud yang ada di sebelah produk dan yang ada di sebelah reactant. So bila both side dia ada, so kita boleh cancel out dia. Okay, so our half equation or our Zn plus 2H plus produce Zn2 plus H2. Macam itu. So inilah jawapan dia. Okay, kita salin semula sahaja. Okay, right. So inilah jawapan dia. Nampak? Sama kan? Zn plus 2H plus and then produce Zn2 plus H2. Okay, next. Itu kita baru settle ionic equation. And then, how to calculate the rate of reaction for set 1 and set 2. Okay, macam mana kita nak calculate the rate of reaction? Sedangkan dia tak bagi kita information other than time and the volume, also the concentration of the sulfuric acid. Okay, macam mana kita nak kira rate of reaction? Rate of reaction dia punya, sorry. Okay, rate of reaction, kita tengok balik yang tadi kita ada volume of gas collected over time. Okay, volume of hydrogen gas collected over time. So, di sini adalah dia punya keyword dia. Dia dah tulis di situ. Time taken to collect 40 cm cube, which is the volume of the gas. So, the answer for set 1 would be volume, which is 40 cm cube, divided by the time taken for the reaction to be complete is 33 seconds. So, 40 divided by 33 equals to 1.21. But you kena ingat, you kena include the unit. Without unit, your answer will be wrong. So, kalau you tak tulis unit, so jawapan you tolak 1 markah. Okay, unit itu penting. Alright. So, kita dah settle for set 1. How about set 2? Set 2, the volume also 40. Sebab kita tengok table tadi. Kalau you tengok balik dalam table tadi, kita ada 40 cm cube. But now, what is the difference? Difference by the time. Okay, time taken for set 2 is 45 second. Okay, so 40 divided by 45, you akan dapat 0.89. Then jangan lupa masukkan dia punya unit. Okay. Alright, any question so far? Cikgu Gary, tak ada soalan lagi ke?
Setakat ni tidak ada. Kalau kita ada 52 orang attendees lah, banyak juga.
Okay. Alright, tak apa.
Right.
Okay, kalau any of you ada soalan, boleh tanya saja. Okay, then saya akan jawab nanti bila saya berkesempatan jawab, saya akan jawab lah. Okay, next. Draw the energy profile diagram for set 1 and set 3. Okay, kita tengok balik table. Alright, table 1, set 1, they use sulfuric acid and zinc powder. And for set 3, in addition with catalyst. Okay, so bila kita add catalyst, so dia akan lower the activation energy. Itu function dia tadi. Kalau calon semua ingat, ini jawapan dia, to lower the activation energy. So bila kita add catalyst, dia akan lower the activation energy. Okay, so macam mana kita nak dapat markah untuk energy profile diagram? Okay, yang pertama sekali, you kena ada level of energy. Okay, ini satu markah. Kalau you lukis exist without the word energy ataupun tenaga, kita dah hilang satu markah di sini. So, you kena ada perkataan energy. So, bila you tulis sahaja perkataan energy, you akan dapat satu markah. Okay. Now, kita tahu tadi for set 1 is without catalyst and for set 3 is presence of catalyst. And presence of catalyst will cause the activation energy lower. Okay, so untuk markah yang kedua, apa yang you kena ada adalah you kena tahu untuk reaction between zinc and sulfuric acid, ini adalah exothermic reaction. Okay, exothermic reaction kita belajar form 5 chapter 3. So, exothermic reaction, dia punya energy level of reactant is higher than energy level of product. So, energy level of reactant is higher than product. Okay, so you kena make sure itu. Okay, so markah yang kedua adalah bila you buat energy level of reactant and is higher than energy level of the product. Okay, including the ionic equation. So, you kena include sekali dia punya ionic equation. This is ionic equation. Ini adalah di kita punya reactant tadi, which is zinc and 2H+. Ini adalah kita punya reactant. And our product is Zn2+ plus H2. Dari mana cikgu tahu benda ni? Daripada ionic equation tadi. So, daripada ionic equation, this is reactant side. Okay. And this is product side. Okay. So, you tulis reactant which is Zn plus 2H plus and Zn2 plus H2, you akan dapat satu lagi markah. So, markah yang kedua. Okay. Next, markah yang ketiga, bila you lukis energy which is our activation energy for set 1 is higher than set 3. You nampak dekat sini. Set 1 is without catalyst and for set 3 is with catalyst. So, with catalyst, our activation energy is lower. Then you label EA for set 1 and EA not for set 3. So, you akan dapat markah yang ketiga. Okay, 3 markah untuk energy level diagram. Okay, boleh ya? Alright. Apa lagi? Okay, dah. Kita dah jawab semua soalan. Kita dah draw energy level diagram and then also kita juga dah label activation energy. You kena ingatlah untuk set 1, you kena label EA. So, ini set 1 EA and set 3 EA not. So, EA not for set 3. Okay, alright. Next, using the collision theory, compare the rate of reaction between set 1 and set 2. Okay, so set 1 tadi kita gunakan powder, zinc powder. And for set 2, we use granules. Okay, so basically set 1, dia punya rate of reaction is higher than set 2. Because for set 1, powder. Powder, that's mean the smaller size. When the smaller size, we use smaller size, the rate of reaction will be higher. Okay, yang pertama. Then for granules. Granules, we have a big. Okay, satu. Yang kedua, bila you perlu compare the rate of reaction. So every comparison or every sentence mesti ditulis dalam bentuk comparison. For example, the rate of reaction for set 1 is higher than set 2. Nampak? Dia punya comparison sentence dekat situ. Instead of jika you tulis rate of reaction of set 1 is higher, tak boleh. You kena tulis higher than set 2. You kena buat comparison sentence. Baru you akan dapat markah di situ. Okay. So, kat sini kita ada dua soalan for set 1 and set 3. And set 1 and set 2. Okay, kita tengok set 1 and set 2 dahulu. Okay, for set 1, we use powder. And for set 2, we use granules. Okay, just now teacher dah maklumkan. Basically, kita boleh nampak dekat sini set 1, the rate of reaction is higher than set 2. Ingat, kena tulis ayat comparison. Okay, so why set 1 is higher than set 2? Dia punya rate of reaction. Because the size of zinc used in set 1 is smaller than set 2. So, you nampak dekat sini, comparison sentence. Jangan lupa. Smaller than set 1 or set 2. Okay, so you kena tulis, make sure you tulis comparison sentence. Okay, why the size of zinc used in set 1 is smaller? Because for set 1, we use powder. But for set 2, we use granules. Okay, so basically the size will be smaller than set 2. 1 mark. Okay, so 1 mark here. Okay, next. What happened when the size of zinc is smaller? So, point number 2, the total. Jangan tinggal perkataan total. Tadi cikgu dah bagi tahu. Total surface area. When the smaller the size, the bigger the total surface area. You kena ingat itu. Okay, I repeat. The smaller the size, the total surface area will be larger or bigger. Okay, nampak comparison sentence di sini? The total surface area of zinc in set 1 is larger than set 2. Comparison sentence. So, markah yang kedua. Okay, next. Okay, alright. For point number 3. Point number 3 is about the frequency of collision. Okay, di sini teacher nak you all juga careful. Be careful bila you nak tulis point number 3. Okay, point number 3 is about frequency of collision. Okay, frequency of collision between hydrogen ion and zinc atom. You kena tulis ini. Instead of if we use frequency of collision between particles. Itu tidak tepat. Okay, I repeat. When we describe about frequency of collision, you kena mention partikel apa yang berlanggar. Sekarang ni partikel apa yang berlanggar adalah partikel between the reactants. Okay, so what is the reactant? The reactant is hydrogen ion and zinc atom. Okay, ada soalan, teacher macam mana teacher tahu hydrogen ion and zinc atom yang colliding? Okay, so the answer is based on our ionic equation just now. So our ionic equation just now we have zinc plus 2H plus produce Zn2 plus and H2. This is our ionic equation. Now, you kena tulis particle of the reactant. So particle of the reactant is zinc atom and hydrogen ion. Okay, teacher repeat, jika ada calon tulis frequency of collision between particles, salah. Jawapan itu tidak diterima. Ni teacher cakap based on experience lah, based on SPM yang sebenar. Okay, so bila SPM yang sebenar, dia tak terima, kita tak terima frequency of collision between particles. Itu tidak tepat. Okay, jadi you kena tulis between what ions and what atoms. Okay, so hydrogen ion and zinc atom again higher than. Comparison sentence. Baru you akan dapat markah yang ketiga. Okay, next. Point number 4 is frequency of effective collision. Bila you nak tulis tentang frequency of effective collision, also you kena tulis particles apa yang berlanggar. Particles apa yang berlanggar or which particles collide is zinc atom and hydrogen ions. Okay, again, if you write frequency of effective collision between particles, itu tidak tepat. Okay, elakkan perkataan particle. Avoid the word particle. You kena you kena describe lah ion apa dan atom apa. Then, you nampak again dekat sini, comparison sentence. Set 1 is higher than set 2. So, baru you akan dapat point number 4. Okay, so then the rate of reaction set 1 is higher than set 2. So, this is point comparison sentence. Baru you akan dapat markah. Okay, kalau ada calon yang tulis the rate of reaction of set 1 is higher. So jawapan tu tak dapat markah. Kita mesti bila you describe about rate of reaction, about the collision theory, mesti ingat, mesti tulis comparison. Okay, alright. Itu kita dah settle for set 1 and set 2. Kita ada lagi satu comparison. Comparison between set 1 and set 3. Okay, now.
Cikgu.
What? Yes.
Maaf, sebelum pergi ke soalan seterusnya, ada satu soalan sini cikgu. Saya bacakan.
Okay, boleh.
Maaf, saya nyampuk terus kita lupa nanti mana sambung. Tadi saya tunggu cikgu habis. Jadi saya baca soalan. Can I use the chemical equation instead of ionic equation?
Okay, for this one, right? For this one. Untuk melukis activation energy tadi kan? Energy level diagram. Boleh. Jawapan dia boleh. Okay. Instead of ionic equation, you also can write the chemical equation. Zn plus H2SO4. Ini reactant. Okay. Then dekat sini adalah produk dia. ZnSO4 plus H2. Boleh. Tak ada masalah. Tak ada masalah.
Terima kasih cikgu.
Okay, alright. So we continue to another question, set 1 and set 3. Okay, set 1 is without catalyst. Okay, tadi you boleh refer balik table. Set 1 is without catalyst and for set 3 is with catalyst. Okay, basically presence of catalyst will lower the activation energy. So, bila activation energy is lower, so that means our rate of reaction is higher. Okay, so basically, bila kita gunakan catalyst, so catalyst is in set 3. So, the rate of reaction of set 3 is higher than set 1. Comparison sentence. Okay, so sini, point number 6. Okay, ini for set 1 and set 3. Set 1 and set 3. Okay, set 3, copper 2 sulfate solution presents as catalyst in set 3. Okay, kat sini ramai calon 2023 yang 2024. 2024 SPM 2024 adalah dia keluar rate of reaction factors catalyst. Ramai yang hilang markah sebab apa? Sebab dia tak tulis catalyst use. Okay. Ramai calon tulis set 1 presence of catalyst, set 3 set 1 without catalyst, set 3 with catalyst. Itu salah. Bukan salah, tak tepat. Kenapa tak tepat? Sebab calon tak tulis catalyst apa yang dia guna. Now, our catalyst used is copper 2 sulfate solution. So, calon 2025, you kena ingat jika soalan ini keluar either dalam SPM ataupun dalam you all punya trial, you kena ingat bila you kena compare with or without catalyst, you kena tulis what is catalyst used. What is the catalyst used in the set 3? Okay, so baru you akan dapat markah. Alright, next. What happened when presence of catalyst? Okay, so catalyst, okay, dekat sini you boleh tulis catalyst ataupun you nak tulis copper 2 sulfate solution. Okay, so sebab kat sini kita dah mention kan. Okay, pada point 6 tadi kita dah mention copper 2 sulfate presence as catalyst. So dekat sini kalau you nak repeat lagi sekali copper 2 sulfate pun boleh ataupun you nak tulis the catalyst pun sahaja pun boleh. Faham kan maksud cikgu kan? Okay, so the catalyst or copper 2 sulfate solution in set 3 provide an alternative pathway to lower the activation energy. Okay, so when present of catalyst, we lower the activation energy. Okay, next, point number 8. More particle collide to reach the activation energy. So, bila kita punya activation energy lower, so our colliding particles will be easy to reach the activation energy. Okay, next, point number 9. Frequency of effective collision. Okay, just now tadi kita dah mention about frequency of collision in set 1 and set 2. Okay, for set 1, for frequency of effective collision, bila you describe about frequency of effective collision and frequency of collision, kena ingat you kena tulis dia punya colliding particles. Apa colliding particles kita? Kita ada hydrogen ion and zinc atom. Again, mesti comparison sentence higher than set 2. Okay. Okay, so set 3 is higher than set 1. Okay, so 1 mark here. Then the last point is the rate of reaction in set 3 is higher than set 1. Comparison sentence baru dapat markah. Okay. Right? Okay, next. Ada soalan lagi tak selain daripada yang tadi tu?
Setakat ni tidak ada. Teruskan.
Okay. Alright. Thank you, Cikgu Gary. Okay, next. Soalan ini adalah soalan trial from Pahang 2033. Teacher ambil 2 years before lah. Also for section B question number 9. Okay, diagram 9.1 shows a neutralization reaction between acid and potassium hydroxide solution to determine the endpoint of neutralization. Set A and set B use different types of acid. Ini dia punya keyword dia. Different type of acid. Ini set 1 or set A and here is set B. Okay, for set A, we use hydrochloric acid, which is our strong acid. And for set B, we use ethanoic acid. For your information, ethanoic acid is weak acid. Okay, right. So, dia guna different types of acid. Satu, dia guna strong acid and the other one, they use weak acid. Okay, the question is, state the meaning of strong acid and the color changes of phenolphthalein when reaching the endpoint, and also name other suitable acid to replace hydrochloric acid in set A. Explain why. Okay, soalan definition. Okay, tadi teacher ada mention about bila kita nak define, kita kena ada dua benda. Yang pertama mesti ada dia punya subject and then word by word. Okay, so kat sini strong acid. Okay, what is strong acid? Strong acid is acid. This is the subject. Strong acid is acid. You kena mention lah subject dia adalah acid that ionize completely in water to produce high concentration of hydrogen ion. So ini adalah meaning of strong acid. Ada calon yang tulis macam gini. Acid that ionize completely in water. Titik. Without the word this one. Jawapan ini tidak tepat. Tidak tepat. Kerana strong acid, they must produce high concentration of hydrogen ions. Okay. So that's why teacher cakap tadi, bila you nak define satu benda, you kena ada dua, iaitu subject and word by word. Okay. So you kena ada juga perkataan to produce high concentration of hydrogen ion. Okay. Next, the color changes of phenolphthalein. Okay, now phenolphthalein when added into the potassium hydroxide solution, dia akan produce pink color. So bila kita drop the phenolphthalein into the potassium hydroxide solution, kita akan produce pink color solution. Okay, cikgu harap you all dah pernah buat lah eksperimen ini dalam makmal masing-masing. Di sekolah biasanya kita akan buatlah eksperimen ini dan kita akan dapat lihat the pink color solution itu. Okay. Now the question is color changes. Okay, bila you kena state color changes ataupun observation, you kena ingat bahawa you kena tulis warna sebelum dan warna selepas. Okay, I repeat, color before and color after the reaction. Okay, so bila kita add to the potassium hydroxide solution, dia akan produce colorless solution. Apa maksud colorless solution ini? Colorless solution ini bermaksud dia dah neutral. They have reached the neutralization point. Okay, so color changes is pink to colorless. Calon kena ingat mesti tulis warna sebelum dan warna selepas. Jika calon hanya tulis colorless, contoh color changes is colorless, wrong. Your answer is wrong, tak dapat markah. So color changes, you kena tulis pink to colorless, which is color before and color after. Okay, next question. Name another suitable acid to replace hydrochloric acid. Okay, you kena tahu hydrochloric acid is monoprotic acid. What is monoprotic acid? Monoprotic acid is acid that consists of 1 mole of hydrogen ion. That is monoprotic acid. Okay, contoh lain. We have H2SO4, sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is diprotic acid. Diprotic acid is acid that consists of 2 mole hydrogen ion. Okay, so name another suitable acid to replace hydrochloric acid. You kena ingat hydrochloric acid is strong acid. So bila kita nak replace, kita kena make sure kita juga kena replace dengan strong acid. And another one, you kena ingat, you kena pilih monoprotic acid. Barulah suitable acid. Kalau calon tulis sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid tidak tepat. Kenapa? Sebab even sulfuric acid is strong acid, but sulfuric acid is not monoprotic acid. Okay, so bila soalan ini you kena make sure dua benda lah. Yang pertama you kena pilih yang monoprotic acid and another one is strong acid. So acid apa yang strong acid and monoprotic acid? Apa agak-agaknya? Acid ini dia mesti monoprotic acid and dia mesti strong acid. Jawapan dia adalah nitric acid. Okay, so nitric acid is the most suitable to replace hydrochloric acid because nitric acid is monoprotic acid. The formula is HNO3. So monoprotic acid and nitric acid also strong acid. Okay. Satu lagi teacher nak mention. Dia punya keyword is name. So bila name you tak boleh tulis formula. Bila you tulis formula, jawapan you salah. Bila keyword dia adalah name, you kena bagi nama penuh dia. Full name dia. Nitric acid. Kena eja. NITRICASID. Kena tulis nama penuh. You suka ke, you tak suka ke, you kena tulis. Sebab keyword dia adalah name. Kalau keyword dia adalah state. Okay. Bila keyword dia adalah state, maksudnya you boleh pilih. Sama ada you nak tulis nama ini ataupun you nak tulis formula. Dua-dua jawapan itu betul. Tapi soalan ini name. So you kena tulis nama penuh dia. Nitric acid. Kena eja word by word. Okay. Then explain why. Explain why because tadi teacher dah mention sebabnya dia adalah strong acid and dia juga adalah monoprotic acid. So dapatlah 1 mark and then 1 mark. 1 mark and 1 mark here. So altogether we have 4 marks for this question. Okay, alright. Next. Based on set A, okay, write the chemical equation for reaction. Okay, and then calculate the pH value and also the volume of hydrochloric acid for react with blah 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 blah. Okay, the first is write chemical equation. Chemical equation is, tengok dia punya reaction. Reaction is between hydrochloric acid which is potassium hydroxide. Potassium hydroxide formula is KOH. So, you kena tulis KOH plus HCl produce KCl and H2O. So this is the answer. Okay, dua ini macam ni tau. Dia bukan dua yang besar macam ni. Alright. Next, calculate the pH value. Okay, so pH value, you kena ingatlah pH equals negative log constant. Tahu dia punya concentration ion punya concentration or molarity. Now the molarity of the acid is equal 0.5. So 0.5 mole is acid or hydrogen. So is 0.1. And next is volume of potassium hydroxide. Okay, so you kena tahu bahawa ini reaction is neutralization reaction. Okay, ada teacher macam. Okay, jawapan ni senang saja. Acid react with alkali, we produce salt and water. So when acid react with alkali, produce salt and water, the reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Okay, so bila dia melibatkan neutralization reaction, then you kena calculate the volume. You kena gunakan formula MaVa over MbVb equals A over B. Okay. So this is equation for neutralization reaction. Okay. So Ma is molarity of acid. Va is volume of acid, which is our unknown yang kita nak dapat ini, volume of acid, over Mb is molarity of base, Vb is volume of base, equals A over B is the dia punya stoichiometry. What is stoichiometry? Stoichiometry kita boleh dapat daripada kita punya chemical equation, balanced chemical equation. Okay, so here is 1 and 1. So basically A and B is 1 and 1. A is stoichiometry for acid and B is stoichiometry for alkali, okay, or base. Okay, so kita masukkan saja information dia bagi ni. Dia dah bagi kat sini. Molarity of acid is 0.5. Volume of acid yang kita nak kira over 0.5 is molarity of alkali. Here is molarity or concentration. And the volume of alkali is 25. Equals 1 over 1. Because 1 is for acid, is for 1 over. Bila you kira, you akan dapat jawapan dia dalam unit. Jangan lupa MQ. Okay, alright. Okay, kita dah dapat jawapan dia. Next, our last question is about salts. Okay, salt actually untuk trial 2024 banyak negeri yang target ataupun yang spot untuk soalan ini keluar. Salt. Tapi malangnya soalan salt tidak keluar. Jadi calon sila salt sebabnya tahun lepas dia tak keluar. Jadi maybe 2025 dia akan keluar untuk soalan salt ini. Okay, right. So kita tengok daripada dia punya flow chart yang diberi. Flow chart yang diberi kita ada salt A react with acid C, produce colorless solution D and gas E plus water. And we have a few tests here. We have sodium hydroxide as the reagent and also ammonia solution also reagent. Okay, these two reagent actually reagent to test cation. Okay, I repeat, sodium hydroxide reagent to test cation. Next one, dia gunakan dilute sulfuric acid, iron 2 sulfate solution and concentrated sulfuric acid, and dia punya observation is brown ring form. Ini adalah dia punya observation. And then when we use sodium hydroxide, what precipitate dissolve in excess sodium hydroxide solution, and also bila kita gunakan ammonia solution, also what precipitate dissolve in ammonia solution. Okay, the question is C, D and state and action D. The what and observation for formation and explain how identify gas E. Soalan ini banyak soalan. You kena identify A, B, C, D, E, and then you kena write the chemical state, the anion, and then observation, and then also explain. So ada beberapa sub soalan dekat sini kan sesuatu untuk kamu. Ini sebenarnya kita ingat test for cation and test for anion. Actually ini adalah innovation yang terbaru daripada cikgu. Okay, innovation ni cikgu namakan Hard 5 chemical test. Okay, kita guna tangan kiri dan juga tangan kanan. Okay, for tangan kiri adalah untuk anion, test for anion. Then tangan kanan pula adalah test for cation. Okay, so tangan kiri untuk negatif, tangan kanan untuk positif ion. Okay, the first is you kena tahu dalam silibus kimia KSSM, you kena ada 4 anion untuk ingat. Okay, the first is carbonate, chloride, nitrate and sulfate salt. Di mana you boleh ingat dia punya mnemonic dia adalah coffee cup no sugar. Coffee cup no sugar. Okay, so coffee cup no sugar stands for 4 anion yang kita cover dalam chapter ini. And then ha. Kita ada 5 ha. What is ha? H stands for hydrogen ion. Hydrogen ion comes from acid. Okay, so HH means acid. So, and then the last part is ada phone baru. Okay, ada phone baru adalah kita punya reagent. Reagent apa yang kita perlu guna untuk test setiap anion ini. Okay, then pada jari yang pertama kita masukkan coffee or carbonate, and then cup, no sugar. Okay, so coffee cup, no sugar. Okay, next. You nak test carbonate. You nak test carbonate, you kena ada chloride. You nak test chloride, you kena ada nitrate. You nak test nitrate, you kena ada sulfate. And last kali, bila you nak test sulfate, you kena ada chloride. Dia punya cycle macam itu. Okay, then tadi teacher ada sebut tentang HH, which is the acid. Acid apa yang kita gunakan untuk carbonate? Kena ingat tadi teacher cakap bila kita nak nak test carbonate, kita kena ada chloride. So acid apa yang ada chloride? Acid HCl. Okay, next, untuk test chloride. Untuk test chloride kita kena ada nitrate. So acid apa yang ada nitrate? Acid yang ada nitrate is nitric acid. Okay, next. Untuk test nitrate, kita kena ada sulfate. Okay, acid apa yang ada sulfate is sulfuric acid. Okay, tapi you kena ingat dekat sini. Dia ada 2 H. 2 H. 2 H means 2 acid. Satu, dia dalam keadaan dilute. Okay, and then masih sama acid yang kita gunakan, which is sulfuric acid, but now in concentrated. Okay, so sulfuric acid in dilute and sulfuric acid in concentrated. Next, kita nak test sulfate. Kita asid apa yang ada chloride is HCl. Okay, itu settle untuk 5H. Then, yang ini adalah mnemonic untuk reagent. Ada phone baru. Okay, kita start daripada sini. Kenapa? Sebab bila kita test carbonate, kita tambah acid, kita akan terus dapat dia punya observation dia. Observation is the lime water turns milky. So, we add the solution consists of carbonate salt, and then kita tambahkan hydrochloric acid, dan kita akan terus nampak observation dia. Kita nampak terus dia punya color of lime water which turns cloudy ataupun milky. Alright. So, that's why teacher letakkan di sini ada phone baru. Okay, what is other? Other is Ag, argentum. So, tadi kita ada nitrate. So, nitrate salt. Okay, nitrate salt from Ag. Ag is argentum, which mean other. Okay, next. Untuk nitrate. Nitrate is phone. Phone. So, what reagent is iron? Iron what? Iron sulfate. You kena ingat, semua ada sulfate dekat sini. So, phone stands for ferrum or iron. Okay, next. Baru. Ba. Baru stands for barium. So, bila kita nak test sulfate, kita kena ada chloride. What chloride? Barium chloride. Okay, itu habis di situ. Okay, next. Dia punya observation. Observation untuk nitrate. Observation untuk nitrate is produce brown ring. Nampak gambar ring dekat sini. So, produce brown ring untuk nitrate. For these two solution or these two ion, we produce white precipitate. Okay, white precipitate. Right. So, bila kita ada white precipitate, so sama ada dia sulfate ataupun chloride ion. Okay, so kita tengok balik dekat sini. Kita ada solution colorless D and then produce brown ring. So actually what is an ion produce? Ion produce is, kita tengok balik di sini, kita ada brown ring. Brown ring is nitrate. So basically kita ada nitrate salt di sini. Alright, jelas untuk anion. Okay, untuk cation pula. Ini teacher cakap tadi adalah test for cation. Kita ada dua reagent. sodium hydroxide and ammonia solution. Okay, kita lihat di sini. Ini tangan kanan. Tangan kanan test for cation. Okay, so kita divide. Di sini kita ada NaOH. Okay, and dekat sini kita ada ammonia solution. Okay, then comes with the LTL. L is larut. Okay, TL is tidak larut. Or dalam bahasa Inggerisnya dissolve. Dissolve, not dissolve. Dissolve, not dissolve. Okay, so then you kena ingat these 4 mnemonic. Pakcik, Anwar, Zain. So untuk ammonia kita ada Pakcik, Anwar, Zain. Okay, next for the second mnemonic kita ada Mama Cantik. So Mama Cantik, magnesium and calcium. And then for the third mnemonic kita ada Zain. Zain stand for zinc. Okay, zinc di sini. Here is zinc. And then the last mnemonic is Pakcik Anwar marah. So Pakcik lead or PB, Anwar is Al, aluminium ion, and marah is magnesium. Okay, so kita dah ada basically kita dah ada ini. Dan yang ini adalah colored ion. So bila you dapat saja ion yang berwarna, the first is blue color solution and the second is green color solution and the third is brown color solution. So kita dah tahu dekat sini kalau dia produce blue color solution, that means dia adalah copper ion. Kalau dia produce green color solution, this is iron 2+, and for brown color solution is iron 3+. Okay, yang ini kita dah settle. Okay, kita tengok balik pada soalan dia. When NaOH is added in, what precipitate with oxide? So kita tengok this part. Kita perlu tengok this part. Sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide, then dia dissolve. So dissolve kita ada ini. This is dissolve or larut. So kita ada 3 possibility of ion. The first is lead, the second is aluminium, and the third is zinc ion. Okay, so kita ada 3 jawapan dekat sini. Sama ada lead, aluminium or zinc. Okay, but now kita ada ammonia solution. When ammonia solution is added in excess, okay, then we produce what precipitate which is dissolved in excess. Okay, so ammonia, you tengok bahagian sini, ammonia dissolve. Dissolve is here, larut. So what is the ion? Is zinc. So tadi kita ada zinc and also zinc. So maksudnya sekarang ni confirm dia adalah zinc ion. So the ion that in solution D is zinc nitrate solution. Okay. Zinc nitrate aqueous solution. And then kita dah ada solution D. Solution D is zinc nitrate. Next kita lihat acid C. Acid C, how to produce zinc nitrate from acid and salt. Okay, we have carbonate salt, which is zinc carbonate. Then react with HNO3. This is our acid. Macam mana teacher tahu? You kena tengok dekat sini. Ini gas E plus water. Gas E actually carbon dioxide and water. So carbon dioxide comes from carbonate salt. Okay, so our salt A is zinc carbonate. Acid C is nitric acid. Macam mana teacher tahu nitric acid? Sebab N ion dia. You kena tengok daripada N ion dia. N ion dia consists of nitrate. So acid apa yang ada nitrate? Acid nitric or nitric acid. Okay, next. For logam B or oxide metal B, we have zinc carbonate, then heating. When zinc carbonate is heated, so do we produce zinc oxide and carbon dioxide gas, which is gas E. Just now we have carbon dioxide. So gas E also carbon dioxide. Okay, so kita dah jawab sebenarnya soalan itu.
Okay, so top A is zinc carbonate, B is zinc oxide, C is nitric acid, which is our acid, and then for D is zinc nitrate. Ini adalah kita punya daripada sini tadi. Ini D. Okay. Next, for E we have carbon dioxide gas. Okay, itu A until E. Okay, sikit lagi ya. Minta maaf saya ambil masa sikit. Saya akan habiskan yang ini. Ini last question. Okay, the question is, kita dah jawab tadi A, B, C, D, E. Then state the N ion in solution D. N ion in solution D is nitrate ion. Okay, so the N ion in D is nitrate ion. Okay, next, write the chemical formula of white precipitate form. Okay, so white precipitate form is here. White precipitate. Okay, now we have zinc nitrate. Zinc nitrate. Okay, then react with NaOH, our reagent. We produce zinc hydroxide and sodium nitrate. So the white precipitate is zinc hydroxide. Kenapa zinc hydroxide kita punya white precipitate? Because zinc hydroxide is insoluble in water. When the salt is insoluble, they will produce precipitate. Okay, and zinc hydroxide is white color. Okay, so the chemical formula for the chemical formula for white precipitate is ZnOH2. Okay, all right, so ZnOH2. And then last question, what is the observation of zinc oxide? Zinc oxide. Okay, zinc oxide kita ada special characteristic. Okay, kita ada cucu pakcik zinc for oxide only. For oxide only. So we have zinc, lead and copper stands for cucu copper. Pakcik stands for lead, Pb, and zinc stands for zinc. Okay, so bila zinc oxide dia ada dua keadaan, which is at hot and cold. Okay, so when hot, the color is yellow, and for zinc oxide in cold, the color is white. So the answer is yellow when hot and white when cold. Okay, last question. How to test or how to confirm the carbon dioxide gas? Okay, carbon dioxide gas, we use lime water. Okay, so flow gas E, which is our carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas flow into lime water, then the lime water returns cloudy. So, dah jawapan dia. Okay, so itu sahaja daripada cikgu. Cikgu serahkan semula kepada Cikgu Gary.
Baik, okey. Terima kasih banyak-banyak kepada Cikgu Noshahira atas konsen yang begitu bermanfaat semasa tadi. Memang boleh ingatlah Pakcik Anwar Zain dan semua adik-adik yang baiklah untuk pelajar-pelajar kita ingatlah.
Yes.
Terima kasih Mama Cantik, Zain, Cik Anwar Marah. Harap semua ni membantulah semua pelajar kita untuk mengingat-ingat benda ni lah dalam kertas SPM Chemistry nantilah. Okey, kini kita balik ke sesi soal jawab. So kalau ada soalan bolehlah tulis di ruangan Q&A. Okey. Terima kasihlah kepada pelajar Anur Syazza dan Mia binti Hasan tadi tanya soalan. Right, yang lain ada soalan tidak? Inilah peluang kita tanya dengan Cikgu Cemerlang lah. Pakar dalam bidang kimia ini. Ada soalan tak? Boleh kita bagi dalam seminit dua lah. Okay. Mungkin tidak ada soalan. Okay. Baiklah. Cikgu Syera, kita tutup lah. Ada lagi? Boleh ya?
Okay. Setakat ini sajalah daripada saya perkongsian saya malam ni.
Okay, kita sambung di sesi seterusnya nantilah. Okay. Jadi kita tutuplah. Hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian, kita sudah pun sampai ke penghujung webinar pada malam ini. Dan sekali lagi bagi pihak Pertubuhan Aspirasi Guru Sarawak, PJS dan Majlis Guru Cemerlang Sarawak, kami ingin mengakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan lah kepada Cikgu Nur Syahirah binti Muhammad Nur atas perkongsian yang sangat bernilai itu tadi. Dan kita berharap semoga semua calon SPM yang hadir mendapat manfaat besar daripada sesi ini, terusnya lebih yakin untuk menghadapi SPM Kimia 2025. Terima kasih juga kepada semua peserta yang setia bersama dari awal hingga akhir. Jangan lupa untuk mengikuti siri-siri yang seterusnya dalam webinar Kecemerlangan SPM 2025. Dengan itu, kita akhiri majlis kita pada malam ini. Jumpa lagi kita di sesi yang seterusnya. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada Cikgu Nur Syahirah binti Muhammad Nur atas proses tadi. Terima kasih semua.
Okay, terima kasih juga Cikgu Gary.
Sama-sama Cikgu. Thank you. Bye-bye semua.
Bye.